So the topic which we will be studying today is dual nature of radiation, correct? And now what we're gonna do? We firstly let's see what actually we studied in the previous context. We studied two different concepts. Number one is Planck's quantum theory. Number one is Planck's quantum theory. And another one is Einstein's theory. And dear students, what we studied in the two? Planck's quantum theory of radiation, as you studied in class 11 chemistry. What you studied in it? You simply studied that the light will be in the form of energy particles, energy bundles, right? And they carry some energy which will be in the form of quantum. And what this particular relation tells us? This relation tells us E is equal to h nu. E is equal to h nu, where h is the Planck's constant and nu is the frequency of radiation. Now, if we talk about Einstein's equation, E is equal to mc square. This is also called mass energy equivalence. What extent of mass can be converted into an energy? This is what this expression is all about. Now, if you see, dear students, one more thing you know, that is frequency. Nu is equal to C by lambda. In this expression, you can also replace the value. E is equal to the value of the nu, that is what C by lambda. You can write it like this. You can take this to be as equation 1, this to be as equation number 2. So from equation number 1 and 2, from equation 1 and 2, what you will get? This is hc by lambda, which is equal to E. This is mc square, which is equal to E. So from 1 and 2, you will get hc by lambda is equal to mc square. Now this term will be cancelled. You will get lambda is equal to h upon mc. Here c is the speed of light. Speed of light. Here c is the speed of light, whose value is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Right. So now this is for the photon. This expression is for photon. Now what are photons? Photons are energy units of light. Energy unit of. So these are energy unit of light. Now for material particle, for material particle, what you'll get for the material particle, dear students? You'll get now this is lambda is equal to h upon mc for the photon, right? Lambda is equal to h upon mc. This is for the photon. Now you can also write lambda is equal to h upon mv, where v is the velocity of particle. So if you have taken any particle, say electron, then it will be lambda is equal to h upon m. Now these students, mc or mv, mass into velocity makes momentum p. And here it is also momentum. This is momentum for photon. And this is the momentum for material particle. Material particle. So this is what you can go through. Now what further you will get? It will be expanding this expression. You may write here, no, if you are not expanding, it will be changing m into c. Then this will also give you p. Lambda is equal to h upon p. So one more expression you will be getting into the form of the momentum. Here p is momentum of photon. And here you can write it like lambda is equal to h upon mv. You can also write it to be as lambda is equal to h upon p. And here p is momentum of material particle. Momentum of particle. So in this way you can study these concepts. In this way you can study these concepts. So this is a topic which usually been asked in CBSE examination for 3 months. Right. This is a topic which you go for, you can study nicely for the content of 3 marks, and this usually been asked in seriously board examination question paper. So this is what we call the dual nature of radiation, and you already studied about it in the previous classes that it was given by Louis D. Broglie. Louis D. Broglie. So it is also called de Broglie waves or de Broglie matter waves. Right? These are what we call them, de Broglie matter waves. De Broglie matter wave. This wavelength lambda, this wavelength lambda is associated with de Broglie matter wave. So the question can be asked in different forms. Right? Question can be asked in different forms, but ultimately you will have to reach to only one point. That is what to derive this particular thing for the light in the form of photons and for the material particle. So you'll be getting this type of expression, which you'll have to write it into your board examination if it is asked. Now, dear students, one more important question which usually been asked into the PBSC paper, that is de Broglie's wavelength of an electron. De Broglie's wavelength of an electron. So the next topic, right? Let's talk about the next topic. Okay. So de Broglie's wavelength of an electron. The next topic it is. What is de Broglie's wavelength? Firstly, when we talk about the de Broglie, so de Broglie, Louis de Broglie was a person who simply suggested us that the radiation possesses two different types of character. First character we call it to be as uh, wave nature. First character it possesses is of wave, and the another character which it possesses is of the particle. It means it possesses two different types of nature. It behaves as a wavelength, it behaves as a wave, as well as it is also behaving as the particle simultaneously at the time. So dear students, depending upon the situation, we encounter them depending upon the situation. So now you already know. Here I have written de Broglie's wavelength of an electron, right? Electron. So when I talk about the de Broglie's wavelength of an electron, my dear students, one thing needs to be very clear. That is, electron behaves as a particle. Basically, it's a particle because it possesses some mass, so it is a particle for sure. Now, here I have written de Broglie's wavelength of an electron. It means I will have to deal with electron, which is a particle, to be suggested. I will be suggesting you that it is also a wave. It means you already know it's a particle, but it will be behaving as a wave. Why it is behaving as a wave is because one thing is very clear. If the thing is very small, if the particle is a point particle, if a charge is point charge, you will take its dimension to be very small. And once when its dimension goes on decreasing and becoming very small, then that particle will also be behaving as the wave. So similarly, these particles being very small can be treated as to be the particles which are also possessing the wavelength. So dear student, now what I'm doing is, let's talk about when an electron is moving. When an electron is moving, when the electron are accelerated through some potential difference, what will happen? They will develop some kinetic energy. They will develop some kinetic energy with them. They'll get some kinetic energy over there. So what is the kinetic energy gained by electron when it is accelerated? So here I'm writing kinetic energy gained by an electron. Now, when electron will gain kinetic energy, one thing needs to be very clear. Kinetic energy of the electron depends upon the extent of acceleration. So, more you will be accelerating with some potential difference, more there will be the kinetic energy gain. So, here I'm writing the expression for the kinetic energy, that is equal to half mv square. I hope you already know. Now, what I'm doing is, in the next expression, dear students, let us multiply the term by mv square you were already having. Let us multiply the term by m and divide the term by m. Now, what it makes? It makes mv the whole square, because v is already having the square. M into m is m square, so mv whole square upon 2m. You already know mass into velocity makes momentum. So you can write here kinetic energy is equal to mv, that is p square upon 2. So this is the relation between the momentum and the kinetic energy. This is the relation between the momentum and the kinetic energy. You can also write it down in the next expression. You may write here P square is equal to 2mk, or you can write here P is equal to under root 2 mk. So this is what we will be getting, right? This is what we will be getting. ये हमें यहाँ से इस एक्सप्रेशन से इस तरीके से ये मिल जाएगा. So this is the core expression of the momentum of the electron when it is accelerated. जब कोई इलेक्ट्रॉन एक्सेलरेट करेगा तो उसके साथ एसोसिएटेड मोमेंटम की वैल्यू ये हो जाएगी इन द फॉर्म ऑफ काइनेटिक एनर्जी. नाउ लेट अस टॉक अबाउट द नेक्स्ट वर्क डन ऑन इलेक्ट्रॉन. अब इतना एक्सेलरेशन प्रोड्यूस करना है भाई, तो इतना एक्सेलरेशन प्रोड्यूस करने के लिए कुछ ना कुछ वर्क डन तो करना पड़ेगा. तो आई एम राइटिंग हियर द नेक्स्ट एक्सप्रेशन दैट इज वर्क डन ऑन एन इलेक्ट्रॉन. इस इलेक्ट्रॉन को अगर एक्सेलरेट कराना है तो वर्क डन तो करना पड़ेगा, जाहिर सी बात है. तो बच्चों आप जानते हैं यहाँ पे जो आपको वर्क डन करना पड़ेगा, वर्क डन इज इक्विवेलेंट टू, वर्क डन किस लिए करना पड़ेगा? काइनेटिक एनर्जी को बनाने के लिए. यू ऑलरेडी नो वर्क डन इज इक्वल टू इलेक्ट्रॉन इनटू वोल्ट. ये हमने कब पढ़ा था? हम पहले पढ़ चुके हैं कि वर्क डन जो है वो इलेक्ट्रॉन वोल्ट के फॉर्म में. क्यों? क्योंकि आपने एक इलेक्ट्रॉन को 1 वोल्ट से एक्सेलरेट कराया था. एक इलेक्ट्रॉन को 1 वोल्ट से जब एक्सेलरेट कराते हैं तभी वो काइनेटिक एनर्जी गेन करते हैं. तो आप चाहें तो वर्क डन जिसकी वैल्यू इक्विवेलेंट टू काइनेटिक एनर्जी होगी, बिकॉज जो काइनेटिक एनर्जी होती है इक्विवेलेंट टू वर्क डन हो जाता है ना. जितनी ज्यादा आप एनर्जी लगाएंगे उतना ज्यादा वर्क डन होगा, है ना. एक्सटेंट ऑफ वर्क डन इज इक्विवेलेंट टू द एनर्जी अप्लाइड. So dear student, what I am doing is I am writing here W is equal to K, which is equal to EV. Now further, you already know an expression of kinetic energy. The expression for the kinetic energy is equal to P square upon 2m. In the previous expression, it is already there. The expression for the kinetic energy, that is equal to P square upon 2m. And here I am writing it is equal to B as E into V. Now, let us cross multiply it. So P is equal to under root 2 MeV. Here M is the mass of electron, E is the charge of an electron, and V is the potential difference. So now here you are having two different expressions of the momentum. Now you already know an expression. What you know? That lambda is equal to h upon p. So here I am writing lambda is equal to h upon p. The value of p under root 2 mk या फिर under root 2 me. So either of the two you can take, right? अब यहाँ पे काइनेटिक एनर्जी का एक्सटेंट तो हमें पता नहीं, लेकिन पोटेंशियल हमें कितना लगाना है वो हम पे डिपेंड करता है. तो हम चाहे तो इसको कैसे लिख सकते हैं? देखिएगा, द वैल्यू ऑफ एच, द प्लैंक्स कांस्टेंट. प्लैंक्स कांस्टेंट की वैल्यू क्या होता है? 6.63 into 10 to the power of -34 divided by under root 2 into mass of electron, चार्ज ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन, और बच्चों यहाँ पे बचा हुआ है अंडर रूट वी. ये क्या है? वी क्या है बेटा? मैं लिख देता हूँ, वी इज दी पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस. वी इज दी पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस. वी क्या है? पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस. नाउ दीज आर ऑल न्यूमेरिकल वैल्यूज. इन न्यूमेरिकल वैल्यूज को सॉल्व आपको करना है. अब जब आप इन न्यूमेरिकल वैल्यूज को सॉल्व करेंगे तो यू विल बी गेटिंग सम स्टैंडर्ड आंसर. दैट वैल्यू आई विल बी प्लेसिंग इट टू यू. मैं आपको यहाँ पे वो वैल्यू प्लेस कर देता हूँ. इसको सिंप्लीफाई करने के बाद बच्चों आपका जो वैल्यू आएगा वो आएगा, अगर आप ध्यान दीजिएगा, 12.3 into 10 to the power of -10 upon ये बेटा अंडर रूट वी इज एज इट इज मीटर. अच्छा, मीटर क्यों लिखा? बिकॉज इट्स अ वेव लेंथ. लेंथ का यूनिट क्या होता है? मीटर होता है. तो आप लिख सकते हैं 12.3 into 10 to the power -10 मीटर under root v. Now you can also write here 12.3. Now 10 to the power -10 meter can also be written to be as angstrom under root. So in most of the competitive examination, you surely would have seen this expression very useful. तो आप अगर वेवलेंथ निकालना चाहें, क्वेश्चन में आपको पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस दिया हो, you can directly use this expression and you will be getting the desired answer. So dear students, these two are the most important topics which we will have to go through. Right? Now, the next thing. Let us move on to the next topic which we will be dealing with is Einstein's theory of photoelectric effect. Let us talk about the next. That is Einstein's theory of photoelectric effect. So let us begin with this Einstein's theory of photoelectric effect. Now, what happens in the Einstein's theory of the photoelectric effect? So let me tell you some basic historical concepts associated to it. This theory was explained by Albert Einstein in 1905. And for this theory, he has also got the Nobel Prize. Right. For this particular theory, he has received the Nobel Prize. And this particular theory, he has explained on the basis of quantum theory. He explained this theory on the basis of quantum theory. Right. So these are a few points which one should always remember while dealing with this situation. The various situations of the Einstein theory. Now, what are the main points? Let's talk about the main points. Main points. Let's talk about the main points. What are the main points of this particular theory? You may write down. You may write down the first point. Photoelectric emission is a result of photoelectric emission is a result of interaction of two particles. Photoelectric emission is the result of interaction of two particles. One, a photon of incident radiation. One, a photon of incident radiation. And the other, an electron. And the other, an electron of photosensitive material. And other, an electron of the photosensitive material. So, my dear students, very simple to understand. What they want to say? They want to say that photoelectric emission is a result. Means when the photoelectric emission will take place, it will take place when this light H nu will come from the source. Let's take the source to be solar sun source, and these radiations are coming. So these photons are striking the electron, right? And once when they strike the electron, what will happen? They will take the electron out. Now, what is the energy required to take the electron out? That is called the work function. The minimum amount of energy that is required to eject an electron from the surface of metal, that is called what? Work function. And its value is h nu naught. And what is nu naught? Threshold frequency. This is threshold. What is W naught? Work function. Right? And what is nu here? Frequency of radiation. Frequency of radiation. And when the electron will come out, electron will only eject. Electron will only eject if supplied frequency is greater than the threshold frequency. If this supplied frequency will be less than the threshold frequency, what will happen, dear students? The electron will not come out. So now, if this is more than this, what will happen? Electron will come out. It will start moving like this. And when it is moving with velocity v, then it will be acquiring some energy that is called the kinetic energy, half mv. So first thing what they meant, first thing what they told you is The photoelectric emission is the result of interaction of the two particles. First particle is a photon, which is coming in the form of the solar radiation. And the second thing, when it is striking the photosensitive, this is a photosensitive plate. Photosensitive. Photo means light. Sensitive. It is sensitive towards the light. This is a photosensitive plate. So when these radiations are striking the photosensitive plate, what will happen? These electrons will get ejected out. So now the first point you already have understood. Now the second point. Let's write down the second point. After this, let us write down the second point. So when we will be writing the second point, you may write down like the free electrons are bound within the metal. The free electrons are bound within the metal due to the restraining force. Due to the restraining forces on the surface. On the surface. Full stop. The minimum energy required to liberate, the minimum amount of energy required to liberate an electron from the metal surface, is called work function, W naught, ये लिखा हुआ है, called the work function W naught of the matter. So dear student, this is the second point. First point है photoelectric emission तब होता है जब फोटोन इंटरेक्ट करता है इलेक्ट्रॉन ऑफ द फोटोसेंसिटिव मटेरियल. अब उस इलेक्ट्रॉन, वो जो इलेक्ट्रॉन है ना, वो सरफेस से बंधा हुआ है. वो जिस फोर्स से बंधा हुआ है, उस फोर्स को कहा जाता है रिस्ट्रेनिंग फोर्स ऑफ द मेटल सरफेस. और वो उससे बंधा हुआ है. अब आपको उस फोर्स को ओवरकम करना है, उस इलेक्ट्रॉन को वहां से निकालना है. तो आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा? एनर्जी लगानी है. उस एनर्जी का नाम होता है वर्क फंक्शन. तो दिस इज द सेकंड पॉइंट. क्या बोला उन्होंने? द फ्री इलेक्ट्रॉन्स आर बाउंड विद इन द मेटल ड्यू टू द रिस्ट्रेनिंग फोर्सेस ऑन द सरफेस. The minimum energy required to liberate an electron from the metal surface is called the work function, W naught of the metal. Now let us talk about the next. Let us write out the third point. The third point is very important, which is I am writing here. You may write it down like each photon interact with one electron. Each photon interact with one electron the energy h nu, ये सामने लिखा हुआ है बेटा, the energy h nu आपको दिख रहा होगा डायग्राम में. The energy E is equal to h nu of incident photon is used up into two parts. Number one, ये डाल के लिखें आप. Number one, a part of energy used to liberate electron from metal surface next. Remaining energy of the photon is used to impart kinetic energy to the liberated इलेक्ट्रॉन्स। ध्यान दीजिएगा ये क्या कहना चाहते हैं, बड़ा आसान सा। क्या बोलना चाहते हैं कि जो आपने एनर्जी लगाई ई, ये दो भागों में टूटी। एक तो इसने वर्क फंक्शन दिया, इलेक्ट्रॉन को इजेक्ट कराया, और दूसरी चीज इसने काइनेटिक एनर्जी को दी। मतलब अगर देखिएगा तो E which is equal to H nu is doing two work. First one, it is taking the electron out of the metal surface, and when it is coming out of the metal surface, it is moving. So when it is moving, it will be having some kinetic energy. So now if you can take this H common, you can take this H common, right? When you will be taking this H common, what you will be getting? Nu minus nu naught is equal to half mv, right? So this is we need to remember, or you can write it like, इसको एक और तरीके से लिख सकते हैं, H nu minus nu naught is equal to maximum kinetic energy. So the maximum kinetic energy which is there with the electron, the maximum kinetic energy which is there with the electron after it is coming out of the metal surface will be given by H nu minus nu naught. So this is the extent of the kinetic energy electron will possess, right, when it is coming out of the surface of the matter. The numerical here is, this is a question from All India Pre-Medical 2012. Question, you please listen and understand. An alpha particle moves in a circular path of radius 0.83 centimeter in the presence of the magnetic field of 0.25 Weber per meter square. The de Broglie wavelength associated with the particle will be. So what they want to say? They want to tell you, they want to give you here an alpha particle which is moving in a circular path, and its radius given in the question, and it is moving in the circular path because of the magnetic field which is associated to it. It means first thing is you will be having an alpha particle. So you need to understand here which particle they are talking about, alpha particle. So when they are talking here about the alpha particle, it means charge is equal to twice the charge of an electron, because alpha particle means helium ion, helium, hydrogen, helium. Hydrogen is having one electron, helium is having two electrons. Helium is equivalent to alpha particle. So now what is happening? Firstly, they want to find out lambda, the wavelength, that is equal to h upon mv. In the question, they didn't have given you mass, they didn't have given you velocity. Now you need to have the mass and the velocity. For that, what do you know? You already know the expression for the radius. What do you know about the expression for the radius? You studied previously. That is what the radius in which the particle moves is given by r is equal to mv upon qb. You studied this in the magnetic fields wala chapter, the chapter in which we studied the magnetic field, right? In that particular chapter, you studied this concept, and you studied that R is equal to mv upon b. By the way, I'll explain you the concept again in case if you are facing any problem. But right now, I'm placing the value directly. So R is equal to mv upon dq. You can also write here bqr is equal to mv. Now you already know the value of the charge, which is equal to 2e, and R is already mentioned in the question, that is 0.8. So that is the value of mv. So here what I'm doing is I'm writing here the value lambda is equal to h upon 2b e r. You already know all these values. The value of h is 6.63, 10 to the power minus 34. The value 2 as it is. The value of the magnetic field. The value of the magnetic field in the question they gave you is 0.25 Weber per meter square, right? The next thing after this is the charge of electron, that is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19. Then the value of the radius, that is 0.83 into 10 to the power minus 2 meters. So once when you will place all these values, the value will come out, the answer will come out. Here I'm writing 0.0094 into 10 to the power minus 10 meters, correct? Which you can write is equivalent to, which you can write it to be equivalent to 0.01, means this is 9 roundabout to 1, this is 9 roundabout the next digit to 1, and into 10 to the power minus 10 meter. 10 to the power minus 10 meter gives you angstrom. You can write it to be a 0.01 angstrom. So this will be the answer of this type of question. You can simply place the value and can get the answer of all these things. In case if you will be facing any problem in these numericals, you may Tell me so that we can move on with the numerical classes, right? And we can just go through with the concepts of it. Right now, meanwhile, what you'll have to do today is you'll have to understand what you'll have to do is you'll have to just go through with all the contents. But